Hey YouTube, welcome to Trevor's Vinyl World. Sometimes I just am sitting around and a song from the past will just pop in my head, just something totally random. And it's usually a song that I liked a long time ago and it made a impression. I remember being like really young, and then even when I was a teenager, I enjoyed going over to one of my aunt's houses, because even though at my house we had lots of videos, my dad owned a video store, we never had cable. And I always liked to go over to one of my aunt's houses because she had MTV. I never had MTV at home, so I would seek out people that had MTV. Like, I know I had a neighbor that not only did I have a crush on his sister, but more importantly, he had MTV. So if I had nothing else going on in the summertime, I'd want to go over to his house. He'd want to come over to my house, and it's like, he had a pool, he had MTV, he had a cute sister. I mean, what are we doing at my house, But anyways, the song that popped in my head earlier is by Arrested Development, and the song is called Mr. Wendell. And if you are like 40 years old or older, you might know this song. It was classic for its time. I want to say in the spring of 1992, I was watching MTV, and they would have like Headbangers Ball, and they would have like heavy metal music videos, and they would have things like Madonna, they would have Prince, they would have rap, but everything kind of fit into a category. And gangster rap was popular, but like MTV had to kind of figure out how are we going to show Dre and Snoop, but they got to blur everything out, and they got to they can't swear and all that, and they figured out a way to show music videos for gangster rap. But there was a group, Arrested Development, and they just kind of exploded. Their album was called 3 Years, 5 Months, and 2 Days in the Life of. And when it came out, it was very successful. And basically, they're referencing the 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of. That is how long it took their group to get signed to a major record deal. And they thought that was a ridiculously long time. And they blamed it on the fact that everyone wanted to sign gangster rap artists. They did not want to sign groups like this. This was kind of a one-of-a-kind kind of group. I mean, you had other Afrocentric positive groups like who's the one, maybe like Diggable Planets. Who's the other one I was trying to think of? Like A Tribe Called Quest. I mean, this wasn't the only group that was like positive rap. But what I think made this group stand out is that it was like you had a rapper, and his name was Speech, and then you had like a DJ turntablist whose name was Headliner. And I love any rapper that also has like a DJ who's literally, scratching the records and doing the turntable stuff. I really loved that stuff back in the day. But anyways, this group has that, and then they have all these random vocalists that are almost like maybe like an African choir. It was just very bizarre. It was like, you had a guy named Speech, who he was the producer, he was the main vocalist and rapper, and he arranged all the music. And then, of course, I already mentioned Headliner. He was the DJ. Then you had a person named Baba OJ, and they were a spiritual leader and a vocalist. You had Manso Eshe, who was a dancer and vocalist. You had a guitarist. You had, it was very random. But anyways, this album came out, and it had 3 hits on it. It had a song called People Every Day, it had Tennessee, and it had Mr. Wendell. And all 3 of them were hits, great songs. And I really like Mr. Wendell because it's basically about a bum, and it's about how he's sort of free in our society. We all have to like work, pay bills, and in a way Mr. Wendell has it, not better than us, but he has a different lifestyle. And this song is kind of one of the only songs that I could think of where they want you to kind of take the look into the eyes of the homeless person and see it from their perspective. Anyways, I just always thought it was a really interesting song and just sounded bizarre. They make a lot of weird, like, screaming noises, and the background beats and everything on it are just very bizarre. Very bizarre group. Just very, like, you have no idea where they're going with any of this. But on this album, it just all came together. It was like they were throwing a whole bunch of paint on the wall, and at the end, it just looked beautiful. And you wonder, like, did they have this planned, or was this sort of just everything just sort of worked out? And then I want to say, like, okay, so they released this album, which is a great album. This is one of the best albums of 1992. They end up winning a Grammy in 1993 because of this album, and they're the first rap group to win Best New Artist. So they were up against all, like, non-rappers, and here this group from Tennessee, and I assume they're from Tennessee. I guess I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing that they are. I should look that up. If I'm wrong about that, I will put that in the comments. But anyways, the Tennessee song is amazing. The music video is in black and white. There's just a lot going on. It's such a unique, like, all 3 of these hit songs are just very unique sounding. The only one that sort of sounds like maybe another artist is the People Every Day, where they're just trying to, like, explain, like, this black couple is just trying to have a nice date, and then there's these black guys bothering them. But anyways, what really always confused me about this group is that this just exploded on the scene. I know they make it sound like they had to go 3 years without getting a record deal, but when they released this album, this thing was hugely successful. And then they ended up doing, like, an unplugged album, because, like, a lot of groups back then went, like, MTV Unplugged, like, Nirvana did it, Kiss, Pearl Jam, even LL Cool J did Unplugged MTV. But anyways, they did an unplugged album. I don't think that was a hit. Then they released an album. I'm gonna get the name of it wrong. It started with a Z, Ziggle Amundini or something in '94. Sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. That was not a hit. So their album in '94 was not a hit. By '96, they break up or disband, and then Speech, the main rapper, he releases a couple solo albums. He's big sort of in Japan, but nothing really hits in America. And then it's crazy though, because they end up getting all back together since the year like 2001, and they have a whole bunch of, like, albums out there. So I'm gonna go back, try to look at some of those, listen to some of those, and see if any of them are any good, because I had no idea that they'd gotten back together. Yeah, I still could only do like 10-minute videos at a time, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Probably have a part 2 to this right after this one.